Hi everybody, welcome back. Boy, it's been a while. I haven't put out a new video in some time now. Sorry about that. I got tied up with the holidays and family and teaching and working, and so finally got a chance to get back to you guys and do another excerpt of Dwayne Allen Guitar Concepts. We're going to put this one, I'm going to say, in the advanced category. I'd like to teach you guys and get you started on how to build a chord melody, okay? I'm gonna do it based upon a very famous standard, and I'm probably gonna do this one in two parts because it takes a while and I don't want each lesson to get really long. I'm hoping that you have spent time watching a couple of my other videos as a prerequisite to this one. One of the videos that I did, I talked about playing melodies of jazz songs and different ways I'm approaching it. And one of the main things is being able to play a melody up an octave, okay? So we're going to talk about that in a minute. And the other video that I highly recommend you learning is my video on how to learn different kinds of jazz chords. It's the one video that I did where I talked about all the drop two forms on the guitar. There's a lot of them. That video, you could spend several months on learning those chords. It's a lot of chords, but I would hope that you would be pretty familiar with both of those videos first, because if you are, it'll make learning this material a lot easier, okay? So one of the most common jazz songs played by all jazz musicians is a song called All the Things You Are. And I spent so much time working on that when I was younger with my guitar teacher. I think we must have spent like a year on it or something. So what I would do on a tune like this, if you want to build a chord melody, is the first thing you want to do is you want to learn the melody up an octave. And what that basically means is you're playing an octave higher than the way it's written in the real book. So if you played in the real book, it would be in this octave. Like around there, right? Okay. You want to play it higher. Now, whenever you're playing up an octave, it's going to make you play much more horizontal, because what's going to happen is the melody notes are usually going to be found on either the first or second string. Sometimes a third string, but usually the first and the second string. So which means you're going to kind of move up and down this way, okay? So if I was to play the melody of this song, I'll play like half of it because that's about how far we're going to get. So if I was going to play the melody, I would do a lot of it on the B and E strings. So it'd be something like this. Now we're getting into the third string because the notes are kind of getting lower. Okay, you get the idea. We're probably going to take it that far today. So first and foremost is, if you don't know the song, you should go and learn it. Get the PDF file of the lead sheet for All the Things You Are. We're doing it in the key of A flat, okay? So that's the melody that I did up an octave. You should be able to do that. The other thing that is kind of a bigger, taller order is you should be able to play all of your drop two chords in each of the keys that are, for each measure. So for instance, like the first chord of the song is F minor 7. So you should be able to play all your drop two chords in F minor 7. Both sets, right? You don't have to do the lowest set as much because you don't use it as much. Second chord of the song is B flat minor 7. So you should be able to do those in B flat. And then the next one is E flat dominant 7. Right? And then here, I screwed that one up. Okay. And you want to be able to do that in all the chords of the song. Now that's going to take a little while to learn all that. But if you can play the melody up an octave and you can play all those drop two chords for each of the chords of the song, you're good to go. You can do it. So here's what you're going to be doing. Chord melody basically means you're playing the melody and chords at the same time. This is a huge part of jazz guitar. It's a huge part of being, you know, understanding harmony, okay? Now, here's the thing. Most jazz songs, when you're playing the melody, you're going to have a melody and a chord progression, okay? Most of the time, most of the melody notes are actually chord tones of the above chord, which that means is they're notes that are already found in that above chord. So if you know how to play that chord, a lot of those melody notes will already be in there. Does that make sense? So I don't have the lead sheet here for you to look at, so you need to have it on your own, all the things you are, key of A flat, okay? So if you were to start the song, it starts on A flat, okay? Now, what we want to do is we want to match that A flat melody note with the chord that goes along with that measure, which is F minor 7, okay? So you have to figure out which F minor 7 chord form fits that A flat melody note, okay? If you know all your drop 2s in F minor, you can find that. You go, okay, here's one, and basically, here's another thing. If the melody's on the second string, you're probably going to be looking at playing the middle set of drop 2s, which means the middle 4 strings. So we go through all of our F minor 7s until we find the right one. F minor 7, F minor 7, F minor 7. Oh, there it is, right? So you have F minor 7, and then the high note is the melody note. Boom, we got it, right? Okay, the next melody note is that D flat, okay? And the chord that goes along with that is a B flat minor 7. If you have your lead sheet, you'll see that. So you figure out, okay, I need to do a B flat minor 7 drop 2 chord on the high set. So we go, oh, there it is, B flat minor 7 with the D flat in the melody. So you see that? So we already got the first 2 chords. Okay, now, the melody goes back to the A flat, so it's like this, right? And it goes back to the A flat note while the chord is still B flat minor 7. So what I do is when you're on that B flat minor 7, instead of changing chords again, which you could do, make it simple on yourself and just stay on that chord, and you're just going to play that melody note now on the second string. So you're going to go, see how I did that? Sorry, terrible high voice. But so it's already in the chord, right? And the next chord is an E flat 7, and the melody is this note, right? That's a G note. So then you got to say, okay, which E flat dominant 7th chord will fit with that G note? There it is right there, right? So as you can see, all of these melody notes are chord tones of each chord. This A flat for the F minor 7, that's the 3rd of the chord. This D flat is the 3rd of B flat minor 7. Then it goes back to A flat, which is the 7th. Then it goes to this G note. That's also the 3rd of E flat dominant 7. You're starting to see a pattern here. 3rd, 3rd, 7th, 3rd, 3rd, okay? Now, what happens in the next measure is the melody goes like this. G, C, G. And the chord for that measure is A flat major 7. So it goes E flat dominant 7, then it goes A flat with the G. Now this is an example of you're switching a couple melody notes, and instead of going chord, 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 which you could do that, simplify it. This A flat here, this A flat major 7 form, has the G and then the C on top. So you can go, so you have F, B flat, go down a string, E flat dominant 7, and then A flat major 7 chord. So See how I'm kind of picking within the chord. I'm almost arpeggiating the chord, the melody notes. You got the idea? Okay, let's keep moving. The next melody note is F, right? The chord that goes in that measure is D flat major 7. So you got to figure out, okay, where is there a D flat that fits that melody note? Here's a D flat. There's your D flat major 7. So there's your melody note. It's all thirds pretty much, right? So from the beginning, F, B flat, E flat dominant, A flat major, D flat major, okay? Then it's going to switch. It's going to go F, B, F. And for that measure, you're going to do a G dominant 7, okay? So once again, since you're going back and forth, you can hold down one chord form and get both of those melody notes in there. You just got to figure out which G goes in that area. So here's a G7, there's another G7. So you could go, see how I did that? So this is the melody notes, and it's found within that G7 chord. Got that? So it's F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G. Got it? And then the E melody note. Okay, the E melody note now is going to go for C major 7. So the melody note is on the second string, so we want to do the middle 4 set. Okay, so which C major 7 fits there? Right there. Okay, so you got the G7. Okay, you guys get the idea? So the key is you play the melody and then you figure out where's the chord in that position that fits that melody note. Okay, that's how you do this thing. So now the next chord, the next melody note is an E flat, and then we have to have a C minor chord. Well, we already have a C major 7. We'll do a C minor 7, same spot. Okay, so we already got that covered. The next melody note is A flat. Okay, now we have to play it. It goes to an F minor 7 again. So which F minor 7 fits there? Right there. So we have C minor 7. And then once again, the melody goes down, A flat to E flat, but both of those notes are found in the F minor 7. So why move chords around? Just, you got the idea? So C minor 7. Okay. The next note is a D natural, and the chord is a B flat dominant 7. So where's our B flat dominant 7 for that note? Right here. See that? So C minor 7, F minor 7, go back to the second string, get that D natural note with a B flat dominant 7 chord. Okay, and the next chord is going to be E flat major 7, and you're going to go, it's one of those deals where we're going from the second string to the first string and back. Why switch chords? Just hold down E flat major 7 and it covers both of those. You see what I'm doing? So this is what we got from the beginning. Starting to get in some lower notes, so we have to get into a C, which is going to be down here, and the melody has a little bit more movement. Now sometimes when you have a busier section like that, you don't have to harmonize every note on a chord. Some people do that, but you don't have to. You can simplify it. So that C note is going to be the same time as an A flat major 7. Okay, this is an example where you want to use one of those what we call drop 3 chords, where it's this A flat major 7 here, and if you flip the E string over here, okay, there's your C right there. And if you notice, there's actually a melody note higher than that in the chord. Sometimes that's what we do with melodies, is the melody might be more in the middle of the chord, and sometimes there's a higher note than the melody. That's okay. You just don't play that highest note. You play the melody note first. So like a... Okay. So that's how we're doing that. So like when we were on the B flat, then back to the A flat major 7. The next chord has some more melody movement. C, D, E flat, D, C. And the chord there is a D7. So you would grab the closest D7, which is right here, right? So you would go, and this is where you might want to break the chord up and separate some of the melody notes, where you go like this. Does that make sense? So you're gonna go, you got that? So you're on a D7, and these are the melody notes. And then it goes to the B natural with a G major 7 chord. So we're on the A flat. Then G major 7. And notice how on this chord, I'm not playing the higher note, which is the D. I'm stopping here. Because whenever you're doing a chord melody, you want the highest note to be the melody. I'm going to stop there at that part of the song because it's kind of a long song and we'll make another lesson out of it. But basically, so from the beginning we have... Now, I do want to point out, I am playing very, very simple chord voicings. I'm not playing anything hip. I'm not playing any ninths or 13ths or substitutions, altered tones. I'm not doing any of that. I'm playing it very simple. I'm sticking strictly to the melody notes and only using the drop 2 chords that we learned in a previous lesson. Now, some of you guys, when you're listening to this lesson, you might be like, oh my God, I don't know all these chords. This is going over my head. That's because you got to spend some time on that last video of mine where I'm teaching the drop 2 and drop 3 chords and all the positions. It's a lot of chords that you have to learn, so it will take a while. But if you really know those chords, learning this is not going to be that hard. If you don't know any of those chords, it's going to be hard, okay? So what I wanted to teach you guys today was not necessarily like the hippest, most modern chord melody that you can do for all the things you are. This is like a bare bones, simple chord melody. When I was younger, my teacher used to always tell me, be able to play a bare bones chord melody of every tune that you know. And then on the side, we would take time and make these more elaborate chord melodies with all kinds of chord substitution and all that. But this is what you would call like a stock chord melody. So if you were playing in a trio, right, and it's just bass and drums with guitar, you wouldn't want to just play the melody. You want to fill the sound in. So if I got bass and drums, I'm going to play like this. Right? Sounds full. Sounds almost like a piano in a way, right? So that's a good start to learning how to play a chord melody. I'm going to do another lesson eventually and we'll finish the song. And then I might do another lesson where we come back to it and I change some of the chords and change some of the voicings and make them a little bit more interesting and hipper, just to show you where you can go with it. But this is a good start. You can take any tune that you know like this and do the same concept. I picked this one because the melody is very, very sparse. If you notice it, it's all like whole notes and dotted half notes and quarter notes, so there's not a lot of movement. When you have a melody with that's going to be a lot harder, you know. Pick songs that have simple melodies. That's the key, okay? All right, if you like this lesson, please hit the subscribe button. I'm sorry I was gone for so long. I'll try to be a little bit more consistent lately. But if you like what you're hearing, hit subscribe, leave comments and questions down below. And as I always say, if you're interested in private lessons with me, I can get much more in depth and help you on one-on-one. I love doing that, so just contact me if you're interested. And anyway, so hope to see you soon before the holidays. Have a great night. Thanks.